Yeah.
The shaman, Nadeem Shah, is asking, is the turn the same between about 4 to 5K, or has it gone up or come down? Can you tell me about like the average numbers on turns these days?
Yeah. So it's actually really interesting because we just pulled some data recently looking at it from over the past 3 years. So 2020 to 2023, where we're at right now, rounding out numbers, and industry-wide construction prices went up a lot between then. So those prices went up about 35%, but our turnover prices went up 11.6% in that time. So that is also paired with your rent rates going up 25 to 30%. So if I'm looking at a net, we're still net positive, but compared to construction industry wide, that increasing so much, we've been able to keep it pretty low. And that's because one, we have relationships with our vendors, but two, we're able to offer them such volume in work, and it's guaranteed pay. You don't know all the time if your people are going to pay you, but yeah. So this year, our average is right around $4,400 for the turnovers.
Okay. So the average right now is about $4,400
for this year.
For this year, which represents about a 10% increase of recent history. And, that's data. We like to talk about data with perspective on the show.
Yes.
I don't know if you listen,
yes.
but I know you listen.
Top listener, top fan.
If you look at that and you think construction costs have gone up 30%, and you just think about that linearly, you would have expected it to be about $5,200, but it's not. It's $4,400. And that is because JWB, we talk about this all the time, the economies of scale of being the 1,000-pound gorilla. Me having come from the construction world prior to my job, my career in marketing, if you call it that, is really understanding this supply demand of contractors and how much contractors value the steady work, value the person that spends the most regularly, and that person's ability to leverage that consistency in favor of their clientele is kind of like where that value is created. So because JWB is the entity that spends the most, they're the biggest client for all these contractors, and you're so well organized and you understand how to play the game, that leads to costs going up for the whole world and costs going up just a little bit for JWB clientele.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's one of my favorite things about all of this stuff, because I've been there before. I've been the little guy and I've been the big guy. Right?
Well, and it's just, it truly is. If you're out shopping that market on your own, you're going to say, okay, I spent this much in flooring in 2020, and now it's a 35% increase just based on just your industry standard. But we're able to, I think it's also nice that you just know you have someone fighting for that. We have return expectations set out for our clients, and we're going to hit those. So that's a priority, something we're going to prioritize every time.
Yeah. And it's, that is just one piece of the pie, right? Because it's one thing that they're not making up for their material increase based on your price point. Yeah. It's another thing that they're like showing up. Right?
Yeah. And fast. And that's a big part of it is we have different vendors for different products, but we're really working with their scheduling. And that's another person we have specializing in this. And she's a rock star with knowing what vendors are going to place where based off of their other schedules, and knowing that that's not going to impact how long your project takes based on their availability. So being able to shift it around there. Yeah.
So this idea that the average turn has only gone up 10% while the rest of the market's gone up 30% is only one part of the data that is great about JWB's economies of scale.
Yeah.
The other part is that 11 days from from vacancy to handing over the property to market is the compression of that time, because you also get that preferred treatment and you get that coordination. And then the other thing is the specialization of labor we talk about all the time, right? Somebody that's in charge of scheduling, somebody that's in charge of estimates, somebody that's in charge of all these things. You get kind of like the best on the way in, throughout, and pricing point because of the economies of scale.
Yeah, it just happens.
Let's go. I love that.